Nau Mai, whanau, and welcome to the Whāki podcast, and where we invite guests like our beautiful heart human right next to us today to just share about their access to equities within the context of Aotearoa. We invite guests to share their lived experience and effort to identify common threads within support systems, social networks, and knowledge that uplifts the collective human experience. Kelsey, what's up?
So our question for season 1 is, what does equity and support look like for various communities coexisting within one society?
And before we start, we just want to say we are so thankful for this human to be present with us. It's been a long road, but we are like to this day, I am particularly thankful. So before you introduce yourself and say, we'll finish the sentence, I am, and your pronouns, feel free to introduce to the rest of the world who you are.
Kia ora, my name is Maioro Barton. I live in Cambridge. My whanau come from Ngaati Porou and Whangaruru Bay, and that's on my grandmother's side. And on my grandfather's side, I'm from a place in the Bay of Islands called Whangaruru, which is near Waikato Bay. Two beautiful places in the North Island. And on my father's side, I'm from Mid-Canterbury.
Oh, snap. Wait, so where's Whangaruru again? Sorry, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah. But Whangaruru is about an hour north of Whangarei on the east coast.
Okay, wow. I need to go and meet. What is good there? Is there fish or like what is happening? Beaches? What's happening?
There's heaps of kinners and crayfish. Yeah.
Are we roadie?
Yeah, we're on. Okay. And then, so tell us your pronouns. So I guess if you don't know your pronouns, I guess it's just a he, him, or like how do you identify yourself? And it's just a he, him, or if you don't want to be pronounced by gender boundaries, it could be just like they, them. Or it's basically a personal gender. If you've never had that conversation, yeah, that's good. And like, so how do you feel comfortable like telling people, or do you feel comfortable telling people your pronouns, or have you never considered that at all?
I've never thought about it, to be honest. I'm a male. Yeah,
nice,
male, straight.
That's it. Yeah.
And I'm mild.
So commonly pronouns are like gendered words that we use to identify people, or when we talk about people, it's like Joseph, he did this, or Kelsey, they did that, or Maioro, he did that. Or like I use non-gender specific pronouns most of the time.
And I'm failing.
Can you give me an example?
So Kelsey went and did this, and then they did that, and then maybe they went and did this.
So okay. She,
rather than
or her.
she.
Yeah.
But people also use she for me because the society perceives me to be female.
Yeah.
And I don't really give a shit enough to correct everybody all the time.
Because it's not their journey, right?
No, and like their perception of me is theirs. Actually, it's nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I identify as wheelchair user. Is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be.
That's it. And that's the secret sauce. It's whatever you identify as. So if you've never jumped into the deep end of pronouns, it's not like, to me, I'm like, you've never had to do it. So it's it's an educational conversation. It's not so much an education. I feel like if you put it in education, it's like, oh, we know and you don't. But if it's about a conversation about, oh, what are your thoughts around it? You know what I mean? And that makes it, right now, I feel like you're so open to even having the conversation, which is cool.
Yeah.
So the gendered words that you use to describe yourself.
Okay.
Or non-gendered words in my case.
So should we ask that question again? Or is it too late?
No, it's all good.
Can.
We can.
All right,
or we can just leave all that in.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful moment for people.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I guess I'm Maioro, I'm a male, straight, and I'm a wheelchair user.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done. Slick. Okay. And then tell us about different communities that you've attached yourself or were once in and not currently in. So time's not a factor in this. So any community that you have been a part of or have helped you in your journey.
I guess being Maori, I'm part of the Maori community. Also being a wheelchair user, I'm part of the disability community or disabled community. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk a little bit about both of those communities for you?
Sure.
Yeah. And so being a part of the Maori community, what does support look like for you specifically in the community?
Oh, my whanau are huge supporters of me. Yeah, whanau means everything to me. Yeah, I'm always doing things with my whanau. I still live with my whanau.
Yes. What do you reckon the ingredient is for your whanau that makes them so bomb for you?
Food.
Yes.
Honesty, though, bruv, like, yeah.
Yeah. Right, you need to drop your top 5 dishes, like what, or your top 5 meals from your whanau.
I will make. I'll just choose one.
Yeah.
And that will cover everything.
Oh.
Okay. It's mum's cooking.
Love that.
Made with love, obviously. It's
of course, yeah.
I'm just thinking of like good home cooking now. I'm just like, obviously the roast is kind of like the top of the range, but then in my head I'm like, there's some dishes I remember going in and like I smelled such a massive amount of like goodness, and then I opened the pot and it was trotters, and I'm like, I'm gonna try it though.
Yeah.
My mum made it, you gotta eat it.
Yeah.
So my mum is known to make a kumara bake. So it's not like a potato bake; it's a kumara bake.
Nah,
but
that's
it's gonna be
that's level up. I've never tasted a kumara bake in my life.
Kumara.
Kumara.
Yeah, kumara bake. It's I don't like kumara, and so I don't eat it. But it's one of the first things to go at Christmas time.
What's your like family like staple? So kumara bake. What's yours?
I think for me, my mum makes a good coconut fish.
Is that like the one thing that everyone goes for when you have family meals?
No. I think it's hangi. So for us, it's like kua or lovo. Like that's just. But it's. I mean, hangi food is hangi food. Like
My
but what
family,
about yours?
It's my grandma's apple crumble.
Oh yeah,
so good. And my cousin had a birthday not long ago, and Jean made 2 big ones, and my cousin hid one from everyone so she could take it home.
I'm not even ashamed to say that I'd try that. Like
it is so good
on my family.
What's that? Oh, try doing that.
Yeah.
Just hiding one. I was like, Tyler, you can't do that. She's like, yes, I can. She did. She took the whole thing home.
Survival of the fittest. She'd have fittest that day. Yeah. All right, and then so tell us more about how your family like what are actually the things that your family do physically that or like just and like tangibly that help you just be the best person that you could be.
I just think showing their love and aroha to everyone, and we're very accommodating, especially my parents. We've always had people staying with us and stuff like that, and yeah. I come from a big family, so I've got 3 older brothers, an older sister, and a younger brother, and I've lost count of how many nieces and nephews. So, yeah, it's big around Christmas time, and yeah.
Wow! And how often do you guys meet, like all together?
We try to meet as often as possible, whether it be birthdays, Christmas, just special occasions, milestones, all that kind of stuff. But then like passing of whanau and stuff, we always get together and help out, and yeah.
I think that's actually one of those things where a tangi, there's so many levels to a tangi, eh? Like there's like,
I love it. Like because it's a sad even though it's a sad occasion, it brings everyone together. Yeah.
And it's literally you get the download on everyone, and you actually get to connect on a like real heart level with a lot of your whanau. So to me, I'm like, as much as like, I guess it's the catch-22 to a tangi, like you're so happy to see everybody, but you're here for really like.
Yeah. And like going to a marae, you can just be yourself. You don't need to worry about anything else, pretty much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's your whakaro or just your family's whakaro for?
Well, I just feel when I'm at my marae, I'm relaxed. I'm just, yeah.
So, in terms of the Waikato, how has your family come to the Waikato?
So I was born at Waikato Hospital, so I've always lived in the Waikato region all my life, yeah.
Kia ora. And then, so mum and dad had migrated as well here, or were they always here?
Yeah, no, they migrated here. So they met down in South Island and moved up here. And
Cute.
yeah.
That's a cute love story. I'm like, oh, that's low-key cute. Man. And big families, because you're from a big family as well, right?
Yeah.
How's that for like, do you reckon this? Because to me, every single time I would come to New Zealand, when I first came to New Zealand, I'd always want to go to the big families because there was always something going on. Like when I say there's always something going on, you've got your different age levels in the house doing different things, and somehow the kids cry, like, and you know something's gone wrong. But like for you, what was the dynamics like growing up in a big family?
I guess we have the people in our whānau who like go outside and like to drink and smoke, but then those that like to stay inside and just chat around the TV or just in the lounge, or those that like to play games. I like to see myself moving around, although I don't smoke or drink. I pretty much get on with everyone.
Yeah. Nice. And do you like having all your whānau around?
Yeah. So around Christmas time, we usually have about 20 or so people here at our house, and we have the traditional Barton breakfast that Mum gets up at around about 3. Oh, she starts preparing the night before, so Christmas Eve, and then she'll get up at about 3 o'clock and start cooking our breakfast, which is like a couple of roasts and seafood and salads and vegetables and all that, is ready at around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And if you're late, you know that you're late because she's pissed off, and everyone will give you shit because you're late and you're pissed off, Mum.
Yeah,
but which is fair enough because Mum gets up really early, to cook the meal. Yeah,
and man, Mum. I feel like we need to introduce us to your mom, because I feel like she really just be the MVP right now.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Like, how do I get an invite to that breakfast?
You got to find someone to marry.
I mean, I could just for food. No other benefits, just food.
Oh, that's not good enough, Kelsey. Okay, so how do you like remain? Because I feel like for me, like having a big family, you kind of start to think that, like, how do you remain yourself in a big family, and how do you center self in a bit like amongst all of this community?
I guess my family helped me be myself.
Love that perspective. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, they just, I don't know. They always teach me certain things, new things. Even like my nieces and nephews, they always teach me stuff. So, yeah, about myself, about my life, what to worry about, what not to worry about, and also just navigating through life, I guess. Yeah.
And would you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert in that aspect? Like, do you like spending time with a lot of people, or would you rather, like, you'd be so happy just to be by yourself?
It depends on how much sleep I've had.
Oh, well, true that, actually.
Yeah.
Speak on that.
Yeah. No, I love being around people. I'm very social, but sometimes I like my own personal time. Yeah, just chill in my room.
Hard. I literally used to distract myself, just filling people in my life so that I wouldn't have to think. And then when as soon as when everyone was gone and it's myself, I'm like this, oh my Lord, music.
Yeah.
And then when I started to realize actually my thoughts are actually good thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I think you get to, I went through the research process of relating the opposite way. Instead of asking myself, I kept on asking everyone else. So I guess that's why I was asking you in terms of community, like how do you find self in community? Because sometimes I always feel like, well, for me anyways, I started to adopt a lot of people's behaviors and characteristics to a point where I was like, I don't know if that's me or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it is a part of me, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, some of the problematic behaviors, I'm like, yeah, that's not me. But that's because like you have to see that within community. But if you're not exposed to it, I guess you don't know left or right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I guess in certain times of my life when things are going hard and stuff like that, I don't like to be by myself because my thoughts get bad. But in those times, I just surround myself with people, positive people. But then other times when my life is good and I'm just chill, I just chill by myself. Yes. And I'm happy. Yeah.
And what does mental health look like for you anyway? So like you touched a little bit on that in terms of surrounding yourself with good people. But for you, what does mental health look like, and what does mental wealth actually look like for you?
To be honest, over the last few years, I've struggled. Just some of the things I guess I've faced with relationships, with employment, all that kind of stuff, put me in some dark areas. But yeah, now that I've got a purpose, I'm in a good space. Yeah.
Beautiful.
What did that journey look like for you, and who was there with you on that? Because you say you've now found a purpose, but like, what did that look like going from those dark spaces into finding that purpose?
My whanau, huge, yeah. So my whanau were there supporting me a lot, just always surrounding me and giving me activities to do, like whether it be chores or whatever. But also I've found over the last few years, because I come from a sporting background, so I would used to do training in the gym for my sport, but over the last few years or so, I've been doing training to get endorphins. Yeah, to make me feel good, but also look good. Well, try to get the guns out the front. Yeah.
They're definitely out.
Yeah. Thanks. So yeah, I guess that's how I have tried to work through that kind of stuff. But the last year and a half or so is probably just talking about it with people. Yeah. Yeah, being open.
Yes, come on, come through. Korero time's so important.
Yeah. And I've had a really good friend who I've got close to that I could share that kind of stuff with, and she shared that stuff with me, and it just makes it easier. Yeah, easier to deal with. Yeah. And
was the like, how did that friendship appear? Because I feel like it takes a while. Because for me, especially when you're trying to talk about the hard stuff, like, and especially because you're trying to not be judged while you're spilling your truth.
Yeah,
I feel like some of my brothers, we had to wait until we were wasted or something like that, and I'm like, oh guys, we can do this with or without the alcohol.
Yeah,
but like for you, what was your journey in finding one of your many supports?
So this person, I won't say her name, but we met on Tinder, and we were chatting, and she straight up told me that she didn't want anything more than friendship, and I was like, yeah, sweet as. I've got no expectations of Tinder, so yeah, and I've found an amazing friend.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, and she's helped me a lot through a lot of things, like relationship breakups and just navigating life.
So
I know, I love that story.
Because
I'm so used to hearing shitty stories about Tinder. I'm like, I love that story. Like, you can actually genuinely find a good friend.
Yeah.
You're the first, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just hanging around all these like bad Tinder stories, but I'm like, I feel like you're one of the first. Well, that story specifically was, I'm like, yo, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I want to hear more of that, how Tinder's actually winning rather than failing people.
Yeah, no, she's an angel.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, shout out to whoever you are. Like, really, you bringing some, that smile is real. Like, that smile is real.
Yeah.
All right. And then wait, so you talked about your sporting background. Do you want to just touch base a little bit about what that looked like?
Yeah. So, I'll take it back to when I was at school. So when I was actually, let's go right back.
Go there.
Okay.
All right. Strap in.
So
here we go.
So when I was born, my parents were told that I was not going to live to see the end of the day, end of the week, but I'm still here today. So I was born with spina bifida, which basically means that my spinal cord was not formed properly, resulting in me being paralyzed in my legs. And my family's home life did not change around me. So about a year before I was born, my parents bought a 3-storied house. And when they found out that I was going to be born with a spina bifida, they thought, nah, we're not going to change the way that we live. He's going to have to learn to adapt to be able to live the way that we do. So that when I was growing up, I'd have to crawl around the house, climb up on the dinner table to eat with my family, jump up on the toilet, jump in on the couch, just like crawling around because I didn't take my wheelchair into the house. But I think from that moment, that was a big learning curve for me. So it taught me to be able to think outside the square, work through challenges and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so my family's home life didn't change that much. And yeah, I'm very thankful for that. When I was at school, so I was really sick in my earlier years. Well, when I was at primary school, so I was going in and out of hospital, and the times that I was going into school, like that I'd make it to school, I was like a foreign person, like. Because I was the only wheelchair user there, so you know what children are like. They're very curious and ask questions. They'll touch. They'll say nasty things, laugh. So I got bullied a bit, and yeah, so it was pretty tough for me. But I made some really good friends, and my teacher's support was really good. So then at intermediate, I had a teacher by the name of Miss Prue. I'm going to drop her name. So
shout out to Miss Prue.
Yep, Miss Prue. She's actually Miss Brown now. Mrs. Brown.
Miss Brown.
Miss Prue told me in year 7 or Form 1, it was back then. She goes to me, Maioro, I would like for you to stay in after school, please. And I was like, oh shit, am I going to get in trouble for not doing my homework?
What did you do?
Yeah, well, what didn't I do? Yeah. So she said to me, I noticed that you're up to date with all your homework. Are you just going home, doing your homework and playing on the PlayStation, watching TV and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And she asked me if I wanted to get into any extracurricular activities. And I was like, yeah, I would love to. And coming from a big family of 3 older brothers, not a sister and a younger brother, they were all sporty in their own sports. And she asked me if I'd like to get involved with sport. And I had no hesitation in saying yes.
Yeah, come on, it's in the blood.
Yeah. So she made a few phone calls and found out that the Waikato wheelchair rugby team trained on a Wednesday night. And so yeah, told my mum, and after she organised her commitments, she took me to that training, and we took me to the trainings, and I loved it. Have you ever seen wheelchair rugby being played?
No. And can you please invite me to the next game you're going to?
Okay, so wheelchair rugby is played on a basketball court. Mm-hmm. They use a volleyball, and all you need to do to score is you got to get 2 of your wheels over the try line. You don't need to touch it down or anything like that on the ground. So yeah, I loved it because you can just smash into everyone, and it's kind of like roller derby, but gridiron / all that kind of stuff. And I loved it. But because I was only like 11 or 12 and I was playing with adults, they would like target me and smash me, and I'd be like knocked out of my chair, just planking on the ground. And I was like, help me.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I can just imagine you.
He's just like literally reenacting it. Yeah. If you could see this. Carry on.
Yeah, and so So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I used to like playing on the wing, and Jonah Lomu was big at that time. And every time I got the ball, I'd be like, Jonah, oh, you know, like Keith Quinn at the Rugby World Cup. But yeah, after a year of playing for Waikato, I got told that because I had goals of representing New Zealand in a sport, and I made that known to my teammates that I wanted to represent New Zealand, and they one of my teammates said, "Oh, you know, you can't play for New Zealand in wheelchair rugby, eh?" And I was like, "What? Why not? Am I not good enough? Am I too young?" And pretty much what he said to me was, "You're not disabled enough."
What?
And I was like, "What? How more disabled do I need to be? I'm in a wheelchair. I can't walk." But do you guys know the reason?
No.
Okay, so to play international wheelchair rugby, you have to be a quadriplegic. So quad meaning four. So you have an impairment in all four limbs, and that can be as little as you can't clench your hands like this, so you can't pull your elbows up or put your hands up like this. But whereas I'm a para, so para meaning two, I only have an impairment in my legs. So that's why I wasn't disabled enough. So I didn't dwell on that. I made some contacts through playing wheelchair rugby and found out that the Waikato wheelchair basketball team trained at the same time, just at a different venue. So it didn't take me too long to...
Innovation. Wait, how did you have the balls and the guts to literally be like, you know what? I'm not going to take that. No, I'm going to look at different things. Like, what was that process like?
Well, I had goals that I wanted to achieve. So, yeah, I needed to do something to change. And so the next week I went to the Waikato wheelchair basketball team training, and I loved it. Like, because I'm a big Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal fan. And
I'm glad you said Shaquille O'Neal, because that was my favorite. Like that Shaq tornado. Like, honestly, he would spin people out.
Do you know, if I could see any basketball player play in any era, it'll be Shaq. He was so dominant.
At his prime and at the Magics, or yeah, okay. Good.
Yeah, or
sorry, Kelsey.
Also, no idea what you're talking about.
This is my boy world. This is where I came up with. Okay, high school memories.
Yeah, Magic for the Orlando Magic or the Lakers.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
definitely the Orlando Magic, because that's when he was literally like, well, for me anyways, I feel like when he went to the Lakers, he kind of like he learned how to work in a team, but I liked him as like just this one individual beast.
Yeah.
And he was breaking boards everywhere.
He was that's one of my favorite things, seeing him break the boards. Yeah, so anyway, going back to my story, so I started off playing wheelchair basketball, and because I come from rugby and I just went straight in there. I was using some of the rugby tactics and like smashing into the wheelchairs and stuff, and I nearly got my butt kicked from these adults because I was smashing into them, and basketball was meant to be a non-contact sport. But
how is basketball like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, when you're in a wheelchair, you're not supposed to smash into them, but I was forcefully smashing into them. And,
on purpose.
Yeah, and all these older guys were thinking, oh, who's this young Maori guy coming in here and trying to smash us around and stuff? So I nearly got my butt kicked a few times. But then I just explained to them that I don't know the rules. I've come from rugby, and so they took it back a step, and then they explained things to me. And so after a year of playing for the Waikato team, I got named in the New Zealand under 20 wheelchair basketball team.
Yes! Like, gosh, yes, go there.
So that was at age 13.
Whoa.
So that was in the New Zealand under 20 team. And I was in that team until I was 20. And in my final year, I was the vice captain of... not vice captain, co-captain. That's the word, of the New Zealand under 20 team. And we played in a tournament over in Australia, and we got to the final where we played USA, and some of these players who we played back then, we see them making multi-million-dollar deals and stuff these days, and we're like, yeah, I knocked that guy out of his chair and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But yes, so amazing to see that kind of stuff. But also when I was at high school, because I used to go to Hillcrest High, and I was part of the Physical Assistance Centre. So that was for students with physical disabilities that went to the Physical Assistance Centre for it was like a base where they had adaptive equipment to help students in their classrooms. That also helped with, they had a accessible bathroom, toilets, kitchen, but I never used to spend any time in there unless I wanted to wag. And so that was my hiding place. And anyway, so at the whole school assembly, athletics day, all the students in the Physical Assistance Centre, or the PAC, they called it, had their own athletics tournament amongst themselves at the school athletics day. And I really enjoyed that. So we would do like wheelchair races, some fun relays, some throwing events like shot put, discus, baton throws, all that stuff. And I really enjoyed it. So I said to the lady who organising it that I enjoyed it, and I'd like to do some outside of school.
Yeah.
And so she made a few phone calls and found out that at the time there was the New Zealand Paralympic field athletics coach who lives in Hamilton, and she connected us and we started training together. And yeah, I represented Waikato, and then also in 2000, I can't remember what year it was, but my first international competition for athletics for shot put, discus and javelin, I went over to the Australian junior nationals, and I bet all their Australian under-20 records for shot put, discus and javelin in my category. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
You've achieved so much, and wait, how young are you now?
So at that time, I think I was like 17.
All right.
No, hang on, sorry. Yeah.
Last year high school or second to last year high school?
Actually, first year out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
So
18,
19. Yeah. And
Jinx, did you just repeat I'm like 18, like, hey.
And then from those distances that I threw, I qualified myself to be able to compete at the World Junior Champs. And so the following year I went over to Dublin and competed at the World Junior Disabled Track and Field Champs. And I did not too bad for a short little Māori boy from Cambridge, who lives in Cambridge. I got 2 fourths for discus and javelin and a second for shot put. But those records at the time for shot put, for discus and javelin, at the time they were in the senior rankings, they were 10th in the world. So I was 10th in the world at that time for those distances. And then for my shot put, I was 5th in the world. So yeah, I got a silver medal in those rankings. So that's probably the pinnacle of my
sporting career. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And do you reckon would you aspire to do anything else in your next up and coming years?
So since then I've done one wheelchair bodybuilding competition, and that was actually one of the most hardest things psychologically I'd put myself through. So
why is that?
Well, coming from a sporting background with basketball and stuff, the training was easy, but the diet was hard because us Māoris, we love to eat our carbs and stuff like that. So yeah. And because
come on, with mum's cooking, no
way.
It
was so hard. But also being able to eat at certain times and certain amounts and all that kind of stuff. But our kitchen was not accessible for me to be able to cook my own food. So I had to rely on other people. So my girlfriend at the time would cook for me, my sister, my mum, and stuff like that. So my achievements in my bodybuilding competition were a team effort because they were
yeah, for sure,
they helped me a lot.
See, you humble out here because I feel like some people would win and be like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, well, I actually did win the wheelchair bodybuilding competition, but I was also on the cover of the fitness journal. I can't remember what they call it now. Inspo. I think it's called Inspo,
Okay.
a magazine. And so they interviewed me about my journey to get into wheelchair bodybuilding and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do a follow-up interview and then publish that I came anything lower than first. So I trained my butt off so hard to be able to win, like dieting, and I was in the best physical shape of my life. And so I was happy to win, and but it was hard. Yeah.
Oh,
And I because the whole dieting and eating and stuff was hard, I also got hangry a lot. And I was pretty nasty. And because I was self-focused on my achievements and stuff like that, I felt as though I wasn't Maioro. I was like a nasty man. Yeah. So if I was to do it again, I would probably have to think very hard in it. Yeah. Whether I did it or not.
Throughout all your stories that you've shared, there seems to be like pivotal people that have supported you in each of your ventures. Is there anything that they had in common, or any ways that they supported you that were a common thread for you?
I guess belief in me. Yeah. But also showing me that I can do it. Yeah. Because sometimes people can see things in me that I can't myself.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty common experience.
Yeah.
And that feeling of, so that's why for me, I genuinely like up anybody that like, if I think it, I'm going to say it. Especially if it's a positive affirmation of somebody, if I think it, I'm going to say it. Like, I will not hold back on compliments of you. Like, I'm a words of affirmation person. Yeah. But if I see that someone's put in effort to look good on a special day or just on any day, I'm like, if you showed up for yourself today and you look hella fine, I don't care if you're a male or female, I'm going to tell you. Like, yeah. So I'm like,
it's a good way to be, but some people don't like that, do they? Yeah. They get all the weird vibes out of it. Because I'm the same. I like to compliment people, but I've backed off a little bit these days because just people think that I'm being creepy.
Oh, what? Yeah. It's so awkward, especially when it's coming from such a good place.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to my my achievements and stuff, I've actually been getting some psychology work done through work. So I've been seeing a psychologist just to help me overcome some things that I've been experiencing while in my new job. And we got pretty deep the other day and we found out why I am so competitive, and I like to be competitive, also don't like to be late for things. I'm always on time doing things, and yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself. But I think it's because those early days of my life when my parents got told that I was not going to see the end of the week. When I get to my birthday, I think of them, and it's a big
hard.
Like what's the name of this?
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck
you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Come on, I think that's why I appreciate so much these people that have been believing in you so much to put you in and to push you up and to really uplift you, because I'm like, come on, you were just born and to
doubted me already. Yeah,
our best intelligence in health had already doubted you, and you've surpassed them with every single year of just being yourself.
Yeah, I guess they knew that I was going to be born with spina bifida, but they didn't know that I was going to be born with determination.
Hey. Oh, shit!
Back it up! No, back it up! I was one more time for the people in the back, please.
They knew that I was going to be born with spina bifida, but they didn't know I was going to be born with determination.
I'm just leaving that sentence.
Pretty amazing.
Honestly.
Because I think often, like, that also is reiterated in society in lots of different spaces and places. There's people see you for what you can physically do, but they don't often, you can't physically see what goes on in people's heads.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
people see, like, I know that, like, when I first met you, I perceived you in a certain way, but then, like, over the years getting to know you, I'm like, actually, I was fucking bitch to think of you like that. And now to see you and like know you more and more. Like
I'd love for you to elaborate on that. maybe not on air, but yeah, like another time. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It was social conditioning, and also just like my lack of awareness of people who were wheelchair bound, and what they can like actually physically do. Like, I don't know, I didn't expect that you could do a lot, and now seeing you through however long we've known each other.
I think the biggest barrier for me is people's perceptions of me. Yeah. And just trying to change people's perceptions.
You've changed mine.
Good. That's a big tick. Yeah. I do have a public figure page on Facebook where I share what I do in my life and stuff like that. And so I try to not also support those who may be experiencing the same things that I go through, or they may, it's kind of, I guess it's also trying to change people's perceptions. Not of just me, but just people with disabilities, wheelchair users, it's been people with spina bifida. Yeah.
Because even the spina bifida community is very, very, it's a niche community. And like the people that are alive like yourself, honestly, you're painting narratives that even the doctors are probably like, how is this happening? How are you still alive with spina bifida and living and doing your best life, traveling the world, being the best sportsman and being resilient in the mental capacity as well. I feel like your mental resilience is really shining for me. I'm like, whoa. I think it's shining brighter than a lot of people who are able. Yeah.
It's not always this easy. It's easier to talk about it. Whereas though experiencing it is a different story. Like it's a long process. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do the inner work as well, which is like, to me, I'm really trying to do the inner work. And I think for me, the fact that you're willing to go to a psychiatrist, or what was that? A psychologist, sorry.
Psychologist, yeah.
The fact that you're willing to even go there to just even get it bounce off, or like just refresh or release some of your mental conversations, that to me is powerful. Like that to me is someone who is aware of themselves and wants to help themselves outside of their own capacity to think.
Yeah, I guess the last few years has been a big journey for me with my personal development, and that's been a big part of it. Yeah, and I guess it's all been around since my friend who I spoke about earlier on Tinder came into my life.
You're the real MVP. Well, apart from Mom's MVP number 1 and MVP number 2 is this Tinder friend. All right. So, talking about the other community that you spoke of, can you just explain to me from your perspective? Are you like, is it more like, for me personally, I don't know if differently able is the best term the PC word way to approach conversation, or is it disabled? Because I feel like people are always like we've got two different conversations happening in this space where I'm like, because I've just started practicing. You're just differently, like people are differently able to me, and it feels good to say it, but I'm like, I don't know that community, and coming from that community, I should probably ask, what would you prefer?
I'd prefer to be called Maioro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done.
Done. I had a similar question because I called someone out for saying, "Oh, my gay friends." I'm like, no, they're your friends that are gay because they're your friend
People
first.
People first languages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then like some of my family has physical challenges as well, and I'm like, well, they're my mum first or my sister first or before they are their physical ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally say my friend who is wheelchair bound, or like if it even matters to the conversation.
To be honest, I hate the word wheelchair bound, the phrase wheelchair bound.
Okay.
Because bound to me is like you're bound to your wheelchair, as in like you're tied up, or you got some wood and you're stapled down and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
good point.
Yeah, I'm just a wheelchair user.
Got it.
Yeah. I just use my, like, as you see now, like I'm not sitting in my wheelchair. I'm sitting on a what's this, like a
Like a
computer,
chair.
a chair. So yeah, I'm not bound to my wheelchair.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that nugget. I will
Yeah.
change my language.
Please.
Good.
And because honestly, like, if you ever see us, just, I guess, not uplifting your mana in that way, please check us, because I'm so happy to be educated in that space.
Sweet.
Like,
Okay,
I really, like, in my head, that's why, because I'm like, I love the fact that you're saying people first, because, like, can you just explain people first language for people who are not familiar with that terminology?
Oh, I don't know how to articulate that.
Oh, well, from your from like, I'm not expecting like the dictionary.
Okay.
Like, from just what do you think it is, or what from your perspective?
Okay. I'm not my disability.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just really putting in.
Or I am not my wheelchair. Yeah.
It's a simple. It's actually that simple. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It is. It's people overcomplicate. People overcomplicate shit, and it just isn't. Like,
Yeah. I'm a
don't be
very
dick.
easy, low back kind of guy, and just get straight to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for sharing and educating us. I really appreciate it. I've never thought of that before.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. So we obviously it's called the whākau.
Yes.
So what are some topics that are hanging out over in the whākau that you think need to be brought to the front and have their limelight?
Dating. Should we talk about dating?
Yes,
Please.
Let's go there.
I love dating.
Yeah.
I love going out meeting people, but as I said before, so one of the biggest barriers for me is changing people's perceptions of me. So people think that because I'm in a wheelchair, I can't be intimate. I'm asexual. That's not right at all. I'm very sexual.
Get it away.
Go there.
Mum, close your ears.
Sorry, Mum.
Yeah, and so I love dating, meeting people. I drive, so we can always get good car parks when we go on dates.
Perks. What else? Lay down the perks. Lay down the perks.
Come on.
Now.
This is your new Tinder profile.
Yeah, your new bio.
You got 30 seconds.
Wait. Shall I just get my Tinder profile?
Yes,
and just
please.
read it? Okay, here we go. All right.
This is a first on the podcast, so come through.
I'll do mine after.
Okay.
Just
Teach
kidding.
Kelsey some lessons, okay?
Yeah, help me.
So you guys know how Tinder works. So if you don't like somebody, you swipe left, and if you like somebody, you swipe right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Got it.
this is my Tinder profile. Swipe left if you like long walks on the beach, like tall men, like doing it standing up, if your dream proposal is for a man to get down on one knee, or if you want a man who will run around after you. Swipe right if you want a man who will never walk away from you. Keeps the toilet seat down because he sits to pee too. And gets good car parks to take you on date nights. You never know. We may find something wheelchair-ish for life.
Oh, that's so good.
Swipe right. Not just like right.
So yeah, that took me a lot of time to articulate, and I'm always changing it and stuff if I come across some good one-liners, and yeah, keep it fresh.
I'm just loving
I just
the
like
left.
we'll never walk away from
Yeah. The left list is like, all of those things were fake anyways. Like, you know, like, those were things that were like materialistically like, this is really what love is. Like, this is what connection is for you.
Yeah.
Like, your left list was good. I feel like your left list could potentially be on the whākau list as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then wait, so what is exciting and great about dating for you specifically that you like diving into and you like pursuing?
I love changing people's perceptions of me, people in wheelchairs. Also getting to know people. Yeah. Although I did the 5 love languages test.
Okay. And then what are yours?
My top 2 were equally the same percentage, and they were quality time and physical touch.
Oh. That's
Quality
mine
time,
too.
yo, that's me. I'm on quality time level. But what's your ones?
Same.
Oh, nachos.
Sorry, you're not my flavour.
Okay, sorry.
That breakfast is looking good. No, I'm just joking. No, so my one's words of affirmation. So that, I guess that's an obvious for me, and quality time. So my partner's on the different. So we both have quality time together. So we literally can be in the same house, not be in the same room, and I'm getting filled.
Oh, sure.
So it doesn't like we just have to be in the same what's it like?
Vicinity?
Yeah. And everything else is just kind of like, I'm like, as long as I know my man's is around, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And he literally is in his office doing his mahi and doing his research stuff most of the day. And like, I'm still feeling like, oh, yep, cool. Especially when I'm working from home, I'm like, yes, I'm feeling filled for sure. Yeah. But is how important, well, what did that teach you about yourself? Like, or did you agree with it? Or are you having conversations with the love languages?
Do you know, before my ex, I would have been completely different. I would have been receiving words of affirmation and probably gifts. But after being with her and experiencing how good it is to have quality time and touch, then that's why I enjoy it. Yeah.
And you gift it as well. Honestly, me and Kelsey are literally like on the same walk of quality time. We literally don't, especially when we've like had just like a long day. We're just like, I remember we went on a work trip and we were we took turns sleeping in the car and we felt so good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
No talking. There was no talking. Like it was just like, yep.
But like you have to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not working for me.
Yeah. It wasn't a good sleep if he's not beside you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not going to go there because that's not my story to tell alone. So,
Bitch.
No, so let's just say that, yeah, I can't actually say it. It's not my story to tell. It was just too funny, though. Pie here is all I have to say. Look there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's
not
my story to tell.
Okay.
But yes,
I'm curious.
We'll tell you after.
Okay.
No, you're straight. Okay, you're not curious.
Oh, yes. Got me.
Y'all would really, maybe you are curious. Okay, so wait. So if you, like, let's say there is a beautiful person listening, what would you like to say to them? Just like a few words, if they've got a beautiful heart and they've got a beautiful mind to be open to a different perception or perspective on life, what would you say to them?
And also drop your number so they can call you.
We'll drop your socials. We don't want randoms calling you.
Yeah.
If they follow me on Facebook, they'll probably get my number anyway. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. Just reach out and let's have a chat. Let's see how things go. Yeah.
See, I like it. I like that you go old school with it because I feel like just a conversation can do a lot, right?
Yeah.
And just connecting with the right people at the right time, right space. Boom.
Yep.
Thanks for coming through. We really appreciate it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Honestly, I'm so thankful that you taught. Well, you're teaching us and you're continuously educating not only us but the community as well.
Sweet.
So hopefully you feel the support in return. And if you don't, call us out for it. Like seriously.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
If people want to connect with you, how can they do that? Like, what's your socials?
So just on Facebook, I've got a public figure page, just Maioro Barton, and slide into my DMs and we'll message, and you might get into my private Facebook. Yeah.
And we'll link that down below too.
Yeah, but also my Instagram, Snapchat is just Maioro. Yeah.
Me.
All right.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Kia ora, ka kite whanau.
Bye.
Bye.